Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best. Welcome to this fourth lesson of our course on solving, not selling. Our focus is an important question. What do our clients primarily pay us for and want from us? Here's our answer. Clients hire service technicians to solve their equipment, technology, and other service-related problems. You get paid primarily to provide three services: prevent downtime or other costs, fix and maintain stuff so downtime and costs are limited or don't occur at all, and recommend improvements that save clients time or money or possibly create opportunities for their business. Now, this number 3 is important. Service techs make recommendations as part of solving problems. It's not selling when you make these recommendations. It's just part of the process of fixing and maintaining your client's stuff. It's important to remind ourselves that clients pay us to do work that provides a value to them. This means we do not do work for free because they're willing to pay for it, except for maybe minor services that might take minutes or maybe a little bit longer. Okay? Also, clients want to know of costs in advance. They don't like surprises. So we do not perform additional services that are not pre-approved and then bill clients afterwards. When you don't recommend a way to improve something that you see as wrong, then you could create a liability for your company because you're not providing part of the services your clients expect your company to deliver. The minimum acceptable action to take when you identify new work that should be done is number 1, document the issue. And number 2, inform both your manager and or the account manager that works for the client. One of you is then responsible for reporting the issue or opportunity to the client. Nothing less is acceptable. Why? Because it puts the client and your company at risk when you remain silent. A service technician cannot remain silent indefinitely about a new problem or a way for a client to optimize their equipment. You never have the right to choose to do nothing. Depending on the urgency of the situation, you may take a couple hours or days to figure out a solution. However, you must always tell clients about new problems or ways their equipment can run better. Again, we ask why. Number 1, clients want to know. And number 2, clients want to make the decisions about their equipment. They own it. They expect a certain return on their investment in their equipment and your services. New information you provide enables them to make the best decisions. Your primary responsibility is to solve problems. Now, part of this responsibility is to give advice about the risk you've identified that may become a problem, or maybe you identified an opportunity for your clients to experience improvement through the equipment you service. Clients may go against your advice. When a client makes a bad decision, it's their mistake, not yours. The reason it's their fault, not yours, even if they try to blame your company, is because you service the equipment, you document your work and unexpected problems or ways they can improve, provide advice, and propose solutions. When the client approves your recommendations, then you do more work. That's great. However, when they don't, then they alone choose to bear the risk and bear the blame. Even if a client doesn't schedule a follow-up on your recommendation, you or an account manager may appropriately, respectfully remind them about the situation every few weeks or months. The client may finally agree to follow your advice, or quite frankly, they may forever dismiss your recommendation. A rejection of your advice is not ideal. However, choose to focus on what you did right. You identified an unknown problem or an opportunity for their equipment to be optimized. You researched and developed solutions. You may have even confirmed your approach with a teammate, And lastly, you had the courage to present the information to the client and let them decide. Nice job. You did the right thing. Consider this example. One of our clients is an IT managed services company. They had a customer that's a department of a large organization. As a matter of fact, they still have the client. This department had been with the MSP for over a decade. However, the customer refused to follow the MSP's new cybersecurity recommendations for about a year. Then the customer got hit by CryptoLocker. This MSP had to fix everything, but the client didn't blame them. The communications and documentation made it clear the MSP had warned them multiple times of the risks. Rather than blame the MSP, the client paid them to resolve the situation and restore their data. Then they followed the MSP's advice. The situation increased the client's trust in the MSP because the MSP had communicated and documented the risks. That's what we want here. Don't be silent. They're paying you to give them advice as well as fix stuff and maintain it. It lacks integrity for us to be aware of a problem or an opportunity for improvement and not bring it to a client's attention. Let's discuss 5 specific core responsibilities of a service technician that solve problems. None of these transform a service tech into a salesperson. Number 1, it's simple. A service tech's primary responsibility is to resolve one or more current problems. That might be maintenance, might be an issue. Number 2, clients expect service technicians to identify other potential risks or ways for them to improve as you provide your services. They want you to respectfully explain the difference between substandard and ideal performance, acceptable or unnecessary risks, and the ROI, which is the cost compared to the specific benefits when they invest in a change. Like you, they don't want to be sold. However, this is important, they always expect to be informed. Clients believe your biggest priority is protecting their organization, the decision maker who chose to work with your company, and the individual whose equipment you're working on. However, clients get significantly more upset about being uninformed rather than being presented with an opportunity to consider an unexpected expense. Withholding information from your clients is unethical, unprofessional, violates your company values, and may even be illegal in certain situations. Number 3, answer their questions about the issue and explain how it might be resolved. You're being paid for your expertise. Discuss the issue and ways to resolve it in terms your client can understand. If they ask you a question and you don't know the answer, contact a peer for the answer or commit to get back to them and then promptly update them once you've found out the information. Again, they may not act on your recommendation, but they should appreciate the fact that you brought it to their attention and helped them understand the problem or the way that things can improve. Number 4, if they want to implement your recommendation, then one of 3 things happens. Number 1, they want to learn more about the issue and how you propose to resolve it. Therefore, you have to discuss it more before making specific recommendations. Number 2, they understand your advice, so you can confirm that you'll provide them a quote to do the work and when you'll do that. Or Number 3, the third thing that might happen is, in general, you know the cost and time frame to get the work done, so you can communicate that. For instance, you might say, I need to confirm the details, but it looks like it's going to cost about $1,500 to $2,000, and it's going to take about 8 hours to complete. I think we can do this Thursday. Does that work for you? If they agree to move forward, don't forget to also explain they need to sign the work order or the quote by a certain time for you to order the products and schedule a tech to do the work within the time frame you proposed. Your company should have a standard process to gather the details and professionally present solutions to clients. This may be done by you or someone else in your organization, or, hey, it might be a group. For instance, you might do the research, a team member of yours assembles the quote, and then someone in sales presents it for approval. Make certain the cost and work time frame you communicate is conservative. And this is an area, please don't let salespeople be overly optimistic and put you in a bind. It's often wise to add a few days or a few weeks or a few hours, something to the time frame, in case there's unexpected delays. Demonstrate your company values and meet the client's expectations by always delivering excellence on time or early. Number 5, if you're uncertain of the exact cost, time frame to implement, or whether a member of your team is even available to do the work, then maybe don't immediately quote the cost or the time frame. Give the client a general idea of what you've identified, let them know you need to research it further, and that you'll be back to them. For instance, you might say, well, it's probably going to be about $1,500 to $2,000. I'll give you some options. Please note, most clients remember the $1,500, but not the $2,000 at the high end of your estimate. Here are 5 ways to avoid having someone expect a price that's too low or a time frame to implement that's too fast. 5.1, so I'm going to divide these as item number 5 here, is one approach is to not initially give any estimate on cost or time frame to implement. Just say you need to research the situation more. 5.2, when you must present a range of the potential cost and time to implement, first discuss your thoughts verbally with the client. Then send the client a brief email after that verbal conversation. The email confirms your initial advice about the situation and your general estimate. Make the email clear, simple, and brief. Maybe use bullet points, don't do large paragraphs. And when you do that, it confirms what you discussed and removes some of the liability of any misunderstanding. 5.3, your low estimate should be what you think it's going to cost to correct the problem in a minimal way, or possibly it's the first stage of your overall proposed solution. The mid-range option is ideally what you want them to go for because you believe it offers the highest value and it balances cost and functionality. The highest price solution should provide a clear, measurable additional value in addition to giving them everything that was in your mid-range solution. Those additional benefits are ideal, but maybe they're not as urgent. 5.4, notice how we suggested that when you're discussing the situation you've uncovered, consider including a statement like, I'll try to give you some options. This approach has 2 benefits. Number 1, it sets an expectation that you'll be recommending 2 to 3 solutions. This reinforces that you're thoroughly considering all options. And number 2, it actually can calm the client because they don't want to feel like one solution is being forced on them. Giving them 2 to 3 options reinforces the fact that they're in control and they get to decide how to respond to your advice. 5.5, this is my final piece here. At times, it may seem like it's too much work to develop that second and third recommendation. We suggest you still do it. One approach is to use extremes for options 1 and 3. For instance, you may suggest, okay, number 1, we can do nothing, and here's the risk or the cost if something goes wrong or you don't gain the productivity improvements that I'm recommending. Number 2, you can implement my recommendation and here are the benefits. Or number 3, you can do my recommendation, but we also can add these additional products and services. And when we do so, it'll crush any possibility this issue is going to return. Or if we're recommending an improvement, it fully upgrades your systems to maximize the productivity of your organization. Now, of course, we're going to briefly explain the benefits. In a previous lesson, we discussed an auto mechanic who noticed the customer's brakes were worn out, but didn't say anything to the customer. Then the customer got in a terrible car accident. Failing to fulfill all of your responsibilities with clients may not cost someone their life. I certainly hope it doesn't. However, not communicating a problem or opportunity to improve always puts clients at risk. Yes, it may be unexpected for them, but part of your responsibility is to identify those things and bring it to their attention. When you don't, it costs the clients money, causes stress, and eliminates opportunities for their growth. This is why service techs must always communicate problems you identify, even when they're outside your current scope of work, or ways for the client to improve. Really important. Does this help you better understand what your clients expect of you as a service tech? Presenting a concern and ways to resolve it is not selling. You're doing what they hired your company to do, which is take full responsibility to manage, support, and evolve their equipment so they can maximize efficiencies, effectiveness, and the profitability of their organization. One critical part of your responsibility is to always keep clients informed. Don't pressure them, simply present your well thought out advice and then let them decide. They're paying you to take care of equipment required for their business to operate and thrive. Sometimes there are decisions to make. When the extra work is no additional cost to the client and part of the work you're already doing, then you can make the decision whether to resolve the issue or improve their equipment, because it's not a big deal. However, when the issue is outside of the scope of your current work and/or there's additional cost, then the client must be informed. They may not know there's an issue or an opportunity to improve. They may not know the questions to ask about it. They're relying on service technicians like you to speak up and provide good advice so they can make the best decision. When you do this, you're solving problems, not selling. This concludes our fourth lesson of this course on solving, not selling. We talked about client expectations and what they're paying service techs and others to do. As you've heard us say, knowledge has no value unless it's applied. So please do something with what you just learned. And lastly, please pass the exam to complete this lesson and proceed to lesson number 5. This completes our discussion of client expectations and what they pay us for. Thank you.